Good day, my name is Gregory, and today we will be looking at Unit 11 of the Headway Plus elementary book. This unit is called Looking Good, and the things we will be looking at now will be the present continuous, whose, clothes, words that rhyme, and in a clothes shop. So to start with, have a look around the classroom. Can you see any of these clothes? A hat, a suit, a coat, trousers, a sweater, jeans, a shirt, shorts, a t-shirt, shoes, a dress, trainers, a skirt, boots, a jacket. What are you wearing? Tell the class. For instance, I'm wearing a jacket, a tie, a shirt, trousers, and socks and shoes. So describe what you are wearing to your partner, and let your partner describe to you what they are wearing. Describing people, present continuous. Look at the photographs and describe the people who, make it a little bit smaller. Who is tall? Who isn't very tall? Who is pretty? Who is good looking? Who is handsome? Well, we can see, for instance, Hassan is tall and George is not very tall. Tom looks as though he's tall. And who's got long, short, long hair, short hair, fair hair, dark hair, or grey hair? Well, if you look at Miles, he's got fairly short hair. So has Rudy, he's got short hair. Becca has long hair, I see. He has very little hair. George does not have much hair at all. Who has grey hair? Looks to me Edna and Violet have grey hair. Yes? And who has blue eyes? Who has brown eyes? Difficult to see in these photos, but you get the idea. Anna's got dark hair. Nadia's got brown eyes. Nadia is number 2. Let's have a look. Nadia has brown eyes. Rudy's got short, dark hair. Hassan is tall. George has got very short hair. Tom is tall and he's got short hair. Juan isn't very tall. He's got short, dark hair. Edna and Violet have got grey hair. Miles has got fair hair and blue eyes, and Becca's got blue eyes and fair hair. And now, what are they doing? Who is smiling? Who is talking? Who is writing? Who is laughing? Who is eating? Who is cooking? Who is ice skating? Who is playing? Who is running? Who is sitting down? Well, Lucy, Mary, and Anna, what are they doing? To me, it looks as though they are ice skating. Juan looks to me like he is playing. Edna and Violet looks like they are talking. Tom is running. Hassan and George are playing. Becca is eating. Miles is working. Rudy is cooking and Nadia is writing. Let's see if we are right. Lucy, Mary, and Anna are smiling. Nadia is sitting down writing. Rudy is sitting down cooking. Hassan and George are standing up. Hassan smiling. Tom's running, Juan's playing, Edna and Violet are laughing, sitting down. Miles is writing, smiling, sitting down. And Becca is eating. You see the different ways we can describe people by their appearance and also by what they are doing. Let's have a look at the grammar spot. Am is are plus an adjective describes people and things. For instance, she is young, she is tall, she is pretty. Am is are plus a verb plus ing describes activities happening now. I am learning English. What do you think goes in the others? Am, is, or are. Fill in the gaps here. And then let's check. I'm, or I am, learning English. You're sitting in a classroom. He or she's sitting in the classroom. We're listening to the teacher. They're listening to the teacher. And remember, I'm, I am. You're, you are. He, she's, is. He is, she is. We're, we are. They're, they are. And then negatives, I'm not, you aren't, he or she isn't, we aren't, and they aren't. Learning English, sitting in a classroom, listening to the teacher. And then the questions, am I learning English? Are you learning English? Is he, she sitting in a classroom? Are we listening to the teacher? Are they listening to the teacher? So the answers here would be, you are, he or she is, we are, and they are. This is the present continuous tense. What are the questions and the negatives? Well, we've just had a look at that. And what tells us it's present continuous is a verb plus ing, learning, sitting, listening. And that tells us it is something that is happening right now. What is the difference between these sentences? He speaks Spanish. He's speaking Spanish. Do you know the difference? Well, the first one is present simple, which tells us it is something that is always true or been true for a long time. He speaks Spanish means he is able to speak Spanish. He's speaking Spanish, present continuous, means that at this very moment he is busy speaking Spanish. Let's have a look at the grammar reference on page 132, exercise 11.2. And here is 11.2. Present simple and present continuous. The present simple describes things that are always true or true for a long time. I come from Switzerland. He works in a bank. The present continuous describes activities happening now and temporary activities. Why are you wearing a suit? You usually wear jeans. So it tells you that it is happening now and also that it is a temporary situation. Okay, let's go back. Practice. Work with a partner. Choose someone in the classroom, but don't say who. And then your partner will ask yes or no questions to find out who you are thinking about. Is he sitting near the window? No, he isn't. Has he got grey hair? No, he hasn't. And so on and so on. Keep asking yes or no questions until you have figured out who they are thinking of. and then change over so you both have a chance to ask the questions and to answer them. It's a very useful exercise, this. And then write sentences that are true for you at the moment. I'm wearing a jacket, or I'm not wearing a jacket. I'm wearing a sweater. What would number 2 be? Write the sentences in the correct form. Go through 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then let's check your answers. I'm not wearing trousers. I'm not wearing trainers. I'm wearing shoes. Number 3, I'm not standing up. I'm sitting down. Number 4, I'm not looking out of the window. I'm looking at my book. Number 5, it's raining. Number 6, the teacher isn't writing. Number 7, we are working hard. And number 8, I'm chewing gum. Okay, let's move along. Who's at the conference? So here we are told, Oliver is at a conference, but he doesn't know anyone. Mike is telling him about the other participants. Listen and write the names above the people. So write the names of these people based on the information that Mike tells him. Listen.
Unit 11. Tape script 11.1.
Mike, I don't know any of these people. Who are they?
Can you see that man over there? He's sitting down. That's Jeffrey Mason. He's a computer scientist. He works in a research department in LA.
Sorry, where?
You know, LA, Los Angeles.
Oh, yes.
And he's talking to Pierre Alain. He's wearing a blue shirt. He teaches physics at a private university in France.
Oh, yes. I met one of his students earlier.
And over on the right, that's Fiona Mccarthy. She's wearing a blue dress. Fiona's a professor at Central College here in London.
What's her subject?
Nuclear physics, I think. She writes papers on that, I know. She's talking to Susan Camfield. Susan's drinking a cup of coffee. She's a lecturer at the same college.
And who are those two over there? They're eating cake.
Oh, that's Ziad Al-Zamil and Barry Gardner. They work in my department. Barry's Australian, but he lives in London now. Barry's the one in the green shirt. Ziad's wearing a pink shirt. Ziad's over here for 6 months.
So, that's Jeffrey Mason and Pierre... oh, it's no good. I can't remember all these names. It's good we all have name badges.
Good. So were you able to figure out the names of all of these people based on the description that Mike was giving? Let's listen again, and this time I will point out what he's talking about, what he's describing.
Unit 11. Tape script 11.1.
Mike, I don't know any of these people. Who are they?
Can you see that man over there? He's sitting down. That's Jeffrey Mason. He's a computer scientist. He works in a research department in LA.
Sorry, where?
You know, LA, Los Angeles.
Oh, yes.
And he's talking to Pierre Alain. He's wearing a blue shirt. He teaches physics at a private university in France.
Oh, yes. I met one of his students earlier.
And over on the right, that's Fiona Mccarthy. She's wearing a blue dress. Fiona's a professor at Central College here in London.
What's her subject?
Nuclear physics, I think. She writes papers on that, I know. She's talking to Susan Camfield. Susan's drinking a cup of coffee. She's a lecturer at the same college.
And who are those two over there? They're eating cake.
Oh, that's Ziad Al-Zamil and Barry Gardner. They work in my department. Barry's Australian, but he lives in London now. Barry's the one in the green shirt. Ziad's wearing a pink shirt. Ziad's over here for 6 months.
So, that's Jeffrey Mason and Pierre... oh, it's no good. I can't remember all these names. It's good we all have name badges.
Okay, so did you get those? Let's check the answers. From left to right, we have Ziad, Barry, Jeffrey, Pierre, Fiona, and Susan. How did you do with that exercise? Now, complete the table with the information we were given. Jeffrey, present continuous, he's sitting down and he's talking to Pierre. Present simple, he works in LA. Let's have a look at the text again. And complete the table. Pierre, present continuous and present simple. Okay, here's a description of Pierre. Present continuous and present simple. Then we have Fiona. Fiona, what of the part of the description is in present continuous and which part is present simple? And then Susan, continuous and simple. And Barry and Ziad, again, which part of the description is present continuous? Which part of their description is present simple? Let's check your answers. Pierre, he's wearing a blue shirt. Simple, he teaches physics. Fiona, she's wearing a blue dress. She's talking to Susan. And simple, she writes papers on nuclear physics. Susan, she's drinking a cup of coffee. She works at a college. Ziad and Barry, they are eating cake. They work in Mike's department. Notice again, continuous are all the ing verbs. Present simple is the base form of the verbs. A day in the park. Find these things in the picture. A baseball cap. Where do you see a baseball cap in the picture? A bike, a football, a kite, trainers, a baby, sunglasses, a radio, a skateboard, an umbrella, and flowers. Have a look through the picture and see where you can see these things. A baseball cap. Well, that looks like a baseball cap to me. A bike. There's a bike. A football. Yep, that's a football. A kite. There's a kite. Trainers. Yeah, he's wearing trainers. A baby. There's a baby inside the pram there. Sunglasses. The lady is wearing sunglasses. A radio. There, next to the fisherman. A skateboard. Well, there's the skateboard. An umbrella. There's one there. There's another one there. And flowers. That lady has an armful of flowers. Listen to the questions and complete the answers with his, hers, or theirs. Whose is the baseball cap? Its. Whose are the flowers? They are. Whose is the football? And of course, the answers are, well, listen.
Tape script 11.2. 1,
Whose is the baseball cap?
2,
Whose are the flowers?
3,
Whose is the football?
And the baseball cap is his. Whose are the flowers? They are hers. And whose is the football? It's theirs. And there we have it. Baseball cap is his. The flowers, they are hers. Whose is the football? It's theirs. Practice asking and answering these questions with your partner. And then ask a few other things about exercise 1. Like how many people are on who does the bike belong to? Who does the radio belong to? Who is pushing the baby? And so on. Ask questions about the pictures and take turns at asking and answering the questions. And the possessive pronouns we use are mine, yours, his, hers, ours, and theirs. So whose jacket is this? It's May's, it's hers. Is it yours, Mary? Yes, it's mine. Grammar spots. Some important information here. Complete the table. We have subject, object, adjective, and pronoun. And the first one I've completed for you, I is the subject. Me would be the object of the sentence. The adjective would be my, and the pronoun would be mine. Now complete this table. Fill in all the blanks for you, he, she, we, and they. Done? Let's check your answers. I, me, my, mine. You, your, yours. He, him, his, his. She, her, hers. We, us, our, ours. And they, them, their, and theirs. So the subject will be I am, you are, and so on. The object would be it is me, it is you, it is him, it is her. The adjective, it is my book, it is your book, it is his book, it is her book, and so on. And the pronoun, it is mine, it is yours, it is his, it is hers. This is how we use the adjectives and pronouns. Careful. Who's your teacher? Here we have who. Oh, first let's look at number 2. Whose asks about possession. Whose hat is this? Whose is this hat? It's mine. It's my hat. Whose is it? All 3 of these are asking the same question about the possession of the hat. But the same pronunciation, whose, is short for who is. So you need to watch for that. Let's go to the grammar reference on page 132, 11.3. Whose plus possessive pronouns. Whose asks about possession. And here's the table we just completed in the exercise. I, me, my, mine, and so on. And using the pronoun, the possessive whose. Whose is this book? Whose book is this? Whose is it? And the answer is, it's mine, yours, hers, his, ours, theirs. That answers the question of whose. Let's go back to the exercise. Okay, let's practice. Whose or whose? Choose the correct word. Compare your answers with your partner. So just underline the word that you believe is correct. Your, yours, ours, our, and so on. Okay, let's check the answers. First, let's listen to them.
Tape script 11.3. 1.
Who's on the phone?
Okay, that's the wrong listening exercise. Let's have a look at the answers to exercise number 1 here. And it is, I like your house. Our house is smaller than theirs. And their garden is bigger than ours too. My daughters are older than hers. Who's talking to your sister? Whose? Who is? This book isn't mine. Is it yours? Whose dictionary is this? Possession. It's his. Who's going to the restaurant? Who is going to the restaurant? I'm not. And whose children are playing in our garden? Who's possessive? So how did you do with that? You need to watch the difference between whose and who is. Now listen to these sentences and decide if they are talking about whose or who is. Listen.
Tape script 11.3. 1.
Who's on the phone?
2.
I'm going to the park. Who's coming?
3.
Wow, look at that sports car. Whose is it?
4.
Whose dictionary is this? It's not mine.
5.
There are books all over the floor. Whose are they?
6.
Who's the most intelligent in our class?
7.
Who's got my book?
8.
Do you know whose jacket this is?
One of these sentences is a little bit different from the others, and that is number 7. Who's got my book? In this case, it is not who is, but who has got my book. That one's a little bit different. Okay, and those are the answers. They said you should shout out 2 if it's who is and 1 if it's whose. So they've just given the answers with 2s and 1s. Then next exercise. What a mess. The house is a mess. Complete the conversation. Listen and check. Fill in the gaps. And if you are done, let us listen to the conversation.
Tape script 11.4. What a mess.
Whose is this tennis racket?
It's mine.
What's it doing here?
I'm playing tennis this afternoon.
Okay. The present continuous can also describe activities happening in the near future. The present continuous isn't always right now. It could be also something that is happening in the near future. For instance, I'm playing tennis this afternoon. Or, We are having pizza for dinner tonight. So make more conversations with your partner. Ask the questions and answer them. And use the correct form, fill in the missing words, and use the correct form of the words. So number 1 would be, whose are these football boots? They are John's. He's playing football later. Now have a look at 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And write down the question, the answer, and the comment, the additional information that's given. And if you're finished, let's have a look at the answers. Whose are these football boots? They are John's. What are they doing here? He's playing football later. Whose are these notes? They're Mary's. What are they doing here? She's writing a report this evening. Number 3. Whose is this suitcase? It's mine. What's it doing here? I'm going on holiday tomorrow. Number 4. Whose is this coat? It's Jane's. What's it doing here? She's going for a walk soon. Number 5. Whose is this plane ticket? It's Joe's. What's it doing here? She's flying to Rome this afternoon. Whose are all these plates? They are ours. What are they doing here? We're having a picnic this afternoon. Notice they all use whose, inquiring about the possessive. Who owns the item that is mentioned? And exercise number 5. Correct the sentences. There's a mistake in each one of these sentences. I want you to correct them, please. 1 to 9. For instance, Noor is tall and she's got long black hair. Hair does not have a plural, so there's no S. Now have a look at the others and correct the mistakes. Each one does have a mistake. You can be sure of that. And if you're finished, let's check. Noor is tall and she's got long black hair. Whose boots are these? Not who is. I'm wearing jeans. Look at Roger. He's standing next to Jeremy. He works in a bank. He's the manager. What's Susie drinking? Who's that man in the garden? Where are you going this evening? What are you doing after school today? You get it? All correct? If you got them all correct, very nicely done. And let's move along. Listening and speaking. Look out of the window. What can you see? Buildings, trees, a car park. Can you see any people? What are they doing? Describe the scene. Describe it to your partner, and then let your partner describe the scene to you. And here we have words that often go together. Match them up from this column with the words in that column. And can you see any of those in the photos that they've given? Let's have a look. Shake. What would that go with? Shake hands. Do you see anybody shaking hands? Yes, there. Then we have babies cry. And the baby is crying. There's a tear. Then we have sunny day. Do you see a sunny day? And have a look at the rest. Try and match the words up and try and find what it is described in the photos. All done? Let's check. We shake hands, babies cry, sunny day, starry night, blue skies, red roses, white clouds, green trees, flowers bloom, colors of the rainbow. And here we have a poem, What a Wonderful World. It's also a song that was sung by Louis Armstrong. Can you complete any of the lines? And a lot of the words come from this exercise. I see something of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright blessed day, the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They are really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry, I watch them grow. They'll see much more than you'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Listen and complete the poem.
Tape script 11.5.
What a wonderful world.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright sunny day and the dark starry night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colours of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of the people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I hear babies cry. I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than you'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
Okay. Did you complete the poem? Good. Make a list of things that you think are wonderful in the world. Make a list. Sit, take out some paper or your book and write down things that you think are wonderful in the world. You can use some of the ideas from this poem if you wish, or think of things completely of your own. Here is the poem again, with all the missing words highlighted. Okay, all done? Vocabulary and pronunciation. Match the words that rhyme. Rhyme means two words that have the same type of sound, like read and said. Hat? What do you think? What does hat rhyme with in this list? Mist, green, laugh, whose, and short. Connect the words with lines like they've done with read and said. And then do the same on this side. White, near, they, hair, rose, hours. And if you're done, let's check the answers. Red, said. Hat, that. Mist, list. Green, mean. Laugh, half. Whose, shoes. Short, bought. And the blue words, white, night. Near, here. They, pay. Hair, where. Rose, nose, hours, flowers. Write 2 of the words on each line according to the sounds. Vowels and diphthongs. So write the words. The vowels are red, hat, mist, green, laugh, whose, short. The diphthongs are white, near, they, hair, rose, hours. Which are these? Listen and check. Listen to the pronunciation.
Tape script 11.6. Vowels. 1.
Red. Said.
2.
Hat. That.
3.
Mist. List.
4.
Green. Mean.
5.
Laugh. Half.
6.
Whose. Shoes.
7.
Short. Bought.
Diphthongs. 1.
White. Night.
2.
Near. Here.
3.
They. Pay.
4.
Hair. Where.
5.
Rose. Nose.
6.
Hours. Flowers.
Okay. Can you add any more words to the lists? But in any event, practice saying the words in rhyming pairs. And note that just because they sound similar does not mean that they are spelt in a similar way. Like read and said. Not at all the same. Then we have tongue twisters. Tongue twisters are sentences that are difficult to say. They are good pronunciation practice. Listen and try saying these quickly to a partner. That is the thing with tongue twisters. You have to try and say them quickly. 4 fine fresh fish for you. Try saying that quickly. 4 fine fresh fish for you. When Stu's goat choose shoes, should Stu choose the shoes he'd choose? Not so easy. I'm looking back to see if he's looking back to see if I'm looking back to see if he's looking back at me. Try saying that one quickly and see how quickly your tongue gets twisted. Listen.
Tape script 11.7. Tongue twisters. 1.
4 fine fresh fish for you.
2.
When Stu's goat choose shoes, should Stu choose the shoes it choose?
3.
I'm looking back to see if he's looking back, to see if I'm looking back, to see if he's looking back at me.
Good way to practice pronunciation and to try and get your speech a bit faster. And this is where we will end today's lesson. I trust that you have found it useful and helpful, and that you have learned some interesting information about English and some ways to progress in your English. The more you practice, the better you'll become, the more confident you'll become, and the easier it will become. Until next time, I say goodbye and thank you.